Toronto had gone undiscovered for years. It was only by accident that I'd spotted it a month ago while repairing an underseas cable. Now I was checking the cargo with another diver, Sam Carter. I'm Mike Nelson. We'd been buddies in a Navy UDT outfit during the war in Korea. I was hoping to get him started in the underwater salvage business. My hunch had been right. There was a fortune in copper and brass down here. Trouble. What was the matter upstairs?
What's wrong, honey? What's the trouble?
Look.
Well, just scuba divers, that's all?
I know. Pretty far out for divers.
They came from that ship out there. I saw them.
That's a salvage ship.
They're after our cargo?
It could be.
What do you mean? They're going to steal it from us?
Yeah, they could be pirates.
These characters could be interested in only one of two things out here. Norma Carter, or the cargo that I'd located for her husband, Sam.
Hey, hiya, doll. Hey, you're the nicest thing I've seen in pants around here. What's your name, doll?
None of your business. Why don't you shove off, Buster?
A job to do.
Yeah, what kind of a job?
The bug hunters, mister. You know, hunting lobsters. I bet that old wreck you found for us down there is just crawling with them. Just crawling. Okay, Duke boy, let's go.
Lobsters?
Couldn't be bug hunting out here, could they, Mike?
I doubt it. Let's get out and look, huh? Find out.
As we headed down, I saw something that didn't surprise me any. The diver was sketching on his slate. Kind of unusual for a bug hunter. They could afford to be obvious. We couldn't prove a thing. On the other hand, these characters might be conned into outsmarting themselves, if we could think how to do it. And that was the problem. How?
Hey, doll, did you miss me?
No.
Yeah, man, my kind. Yeah. Like she sends me. She sends you away. Hey, doll, I'll be back soon. Let's get out of here. Look, take it.
You.
Yeah.
I'd like to see those guys come around here just once more.
wait out there just like vultures.
They know we have to leave here. Better make port and get a barge, equipment, and a crew, too, before we can salvage the dime for us.
That's right.
How long would it take, Mike?
Well, figure a day going in, at least a day in port, and a couple of days coming back. Those barges are very slow.
Well, there must be some kind of law against piracy.
Yeah, sure, there is, Norma. Put a market buoy out there. We'll be here when we get back. Only the cargo down there won't be.
Mike, what about the Coast Guard?
Now, look, honey. Now, look. Maybe I don't have it, but I always did my own fighting.
Yeah, he sure did. He did some of mine, too. He saved my life at Incheon.
That was a long time ago, Mike. I'm not about to start calling the cops now.
Well, don't worry. The Coast Guard's not about to stand guard over a wreck, either. Not for 4 days. I got too many other things to do. Hey.
Huh?
You remember that brilliant idea you had at Incheon?
Oh, you mean when we planted the booby trap?
Uh-huh. We planted it so they could find it.
Yeah.
Hey, Brady. Take a look.
You got? What kind of gizmo's that supposed to be? It looks like a bomb or something. But he looks all steamed up, too. I don't get it.
So what else is news?
All right, Mr. Wise Guy, you figure it out.
Oh, no. You're the bomb expert. At least you weren't until they psychoed you out of the army. Hey, Charlie, you don't talk much. Maybe you know something. Well, what kind of a gizmo is it?
I don't know. Looks like some kind of radio.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, like in a space thing. Satellite.
Yeah, that figures all right. It sure figures. A radio.
And why not expert?
Well, maybe I'll just let you figure it out, Mr. Wise Guy. I'm gonna turn in. Oh, listen, be sure and roust me, will you, if they launch that satellite?
I was going to rig this to that wreck down below, so that if it shifted while we were away getting equipment, there wouldn't be any problem locating it again.
But now you're going to set it up as a burglar alarm, right?
Uh-huh. We'll wire it to a couple of pieces of cargo down there with wires and switches that they're almost sure to find.
Well, you brought some along?
Yeah, I got just about everything we need there. I was all stocked up for a demo job.
Mike, I don't understand. You want them to find the switches.
Uh-huh.
Why?
You tell her, Sam. It's your setup.
Are they in the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Norma, see, the idea is they figure that if they just don't mess with these switches, they can strip the wreck of its cargo and the beeper won't beep.
But it will beep anyway?
Yeah? If those characters are as smart as they think they are.
Well, what if they are, Mike? You know, we'd be knocking ourselves out down there for nothing.
Like we did at Incheon, huh?
There was a war going on, remember?
Now, what do you think this is? They wouldn't stop at killing somebody if they had to. Those guys are after everything you've got, including Norma.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they think they can take her. You know something? They're wrong. They're dead wrong.
They finished working on it, whatever it is. They're getting ready to dive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're going in. You better tell Brady.
Why?
Well, hadn't he ought to know?
Brady? He knows already. Brady knows everything.
Sam Carter and I were fighting a war against pirates. We were hoping to win it with a special kind of booby trap. It had worked fine at Incheon Harbor, Korea. It just might this time, too. Once we got to the bottom, Sam's old confidence and skill came back in a rush. In no time at all, he was splicing the trip switches to the cable that powered the radio beacon. If anyone moved the box, they'd release the trip switch. Presumably, that would break the circuit and set off the radio. It looked like a typical burglar alarm, childishly simple. Any smart crook could beat it without half trying. We wanted Brady and Doak to try. We rigged the second trip switch the same way. That gave them 2 chances to cut their throats. To save them the trouble of figuring out where to start, I hid the cable connection under a metal plate. A bloodhound with a head cold would be able to find it.
You'd better call Brady now. They're pulling out.
Well, looks like they're taking off and leaving the whole thing to us, huh?
They're heading this way.
Yeah, they left the marker buoy. The thing's tied to it.
Yeah, good for them.
Who's in charge here?
Why?
Now, whoever it is, you tell them if you rig that wreck with a radio beacon. It's a burglar alarm, and you move any of that cargo down there while we're away, and it'll start squawking. And it won't stop until the Coast Guard shuts it off.
I'll be sure and tell them.
And you can also tell them that that beacon is armed. Smash it, or even disconnect it, and boom, end of story. At that, it'll still send out one signal.
All right, I'll be sure and tell them that, too.
Well, now, how do you like that?
I told you it was a radio.
That's right, you did, Mr. Spaceman. Now, come on, start those engines. Take us right over by that thing. Very careful you don't bump it, though. We don't want to go boom.
Hey, wait a minute. You out of your mind for real? Didn't you hear what that blonde guy said? That's a burglar alarm.
It's a burglar alarm. So it's a burglar alarm. Go on, get going. What's the matter with you, anyway? Don't you know why they bounced me out of the Army? They found out how to beat the one at the PX. Okay, all set. Okay, it looks like we got it made this time.
Yeah, we got it made all right. Charlie.
Yeah?
Listen, keep the radio tuned to the Coast Guard frequency. If you hear a beepity beep beep, like a coded signal...
Not a chance.
Not a chance. But if you do, Charlie, will you yank on this? And hard. And you, attach this onto your belt. I got enough to do handling that.
You don't trust me worth sour apples, do you?
Would you?
It worked.
That's what you were waiting for, wasn't it?
Those characters were so afraid of breaking the circuit that they completed it instead.
And I never thought they'd fall for it.
Oh, I'd sure like to see the looks on their faces when the Coast Guard shows up. Let's pull that hook, huh? Sweet.
What's the matter with you?
It's squawking.
Oh, you're out of your ever-loving mind.
Shut up and listen!
Come on, we gotta get out of here. I cut that line.
Well, what about Doak?
What about him? I said cut the line. All right, start the engines. Let's get going.
We'd been anchored just over the horizon. When we returned to the site of the wreck, the pirates were already gone.
Okay, toss it over.
You two must have scared them away.
Well, I gave it a try first, though. That's what set that radio going.
Let's get out and see what they did down there, huh?
cargo-filled net was too heavy to lift by hand. I signaled Sam to go topside for a hydraulic jack. I continued trying to help Doak. He was almost unconscious. He wasn't able to inhale properly through his mouthpiece. There was only one thing that I could think of. Remove his weight belt, free his shirt, and turn it into a breathing bag so he can inhale air directly.
Honey, give me the jack, will you?
The breathing bag was working so far. Now, if only the jack would do its job. Doak needed it, we'd give him artificial respiration topside. I was sure that we'd saved his life. Who knows? Maybe we'd even changed his character a little, though I doubted that.
So you're really going to cooperate, huh?
Oh, you send me, Dal.
To jail. That's where that cutter will take you.
Well, you know, that's all right. Because I'll be taking quite a few with me. I mean, that's the least I can do for you guys, huh? Put Brady out of business?
Thanks, Mike, for putting me in business.
I only helped.
No, you did much more than that.
Oh, you see that you stay in business now.
Well, is there any reason to think that I won't?
Well, it all depends. You might get in a fight with your pretty little wife.
That'd be tough. She's the one problem I can't whip. Believe me, Mike, the only one.
I believe you, buddy.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
Elmer Brandon was a rich man, very rich, and a thoroughly nice guy. His daughter, Lucille, for all her riches, was a painfully shy girl. They were on vacation now in the Bahamas. They'd earned it. They'd worked hard, giving money away through the Brandon Research Foundation. They were enjoying themselves skin diving. They weren't using diving lungs because they were out for game. And in these waters, scuba is forbidden to the fishermen. So, they were out to catch their breakfast with just the air from their own lungs. I'm Mike Nelson. I was in Nassau on a salvage job. That morning, they took me to a meeting at Government House. My work kept me from joining the Brandons. The Brandons had some luck. Bad luck. They caught a strange and beautiful fish.
All right, baby, breakfast is ready.
Hi, Dad.
Come on, honey, let's have a go at that crazy fish we caught this morning.
Think it's edible?
Why, sure.
The fish looked like good eating, but it made a deadly breakfast. It was to have a weird effect on these two friends of mine. I thought that I had no part in their affairs that morning. Yet within a few hours, because of that fish, they both tried to kill me. Later that morning, I took Lucille Brandon out on my boat to go sponge fishing.
That's the right idea. Just give it a little harder yank, huh? Good. You're going to be a terrific sponge diver.
Thank you. Let's try downstairs, shall we?
All right. Shall we? Hey, I didn't notice that before. Who's the lucky guy?
What do you mean?
That's an engagement ring, isn't it?
Well, no. My father gave it to me.
Oh. How come it's on this finger?
You know.
Oh, I don't.
Well, it keeps people from bothering me.
Oh, you mean people like me, huh?
Oh, good heavens, no. I like you very much. Well, I mean, you know.
I was just kidding. Let's go sponging, huh? Lucille. Hey, what's the matter?
Oh, too much sun or something.
Well, hit you all of a sudden, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, we don't have to go sponging, you know.
No, I want to, really. I just felt dizzy for a moment. I feel all right now.
How long ago did you have breakfast?
Hours ago. And I don't have indigestion. or vertigo, or sinus, or an earache.
Lucy.
Whatever had bothered Lucille, it didn't show now. She seemed perfectly normal as we descended to the sponge beds. Lucille held the sponge hook as if it were a weapon instead of a tool. Suddenly, it became a weapon, and she came at me with it. I had all I could do to keep her from hurting both of us.
Mike! It's so dark. Cold.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
You're gonna be warm now. It's all right.
Oh, it's the end of the world.
Stop.
There's nothing left. Earth, sky, nothing.
Stop it, sweetheart. I'm right here with you now. Everything's all right.
It's the end.
Don't talk like
It's
that.
finished.
Where do you think you're going? Wait a minute. Come
Let me go.
Stop it.
You're
not making
nothing
sense.
left.
Stop it now.
There's nothing left.
When we got ashore, I rushed Lucille to the hospital. She was still in a severe state of shock, but I had radioed ahead, so the staff was ready to begin treatment immediately. A medical detective also began searching for the cause of her illness. Dr. Alan Clark, a biochemist and a friend of mine.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello, Mike. How's Miss Brandon now?
Oh, she's much better. I'm gonna call her father. Thought I'd check with you first. Find anything?
Yes. Those hallucinations of hers were chemically induced. No doubt about it. But from what source, I don't know.
Chemically induced, huh? How?
Certain drugs, certain foods contain chemicals called hallucinogens.
Oh, yeah. You mean like those magic mushrooms down in Mexico, huh?
Precisely. It's most unlikely, though, that she ate any of them. Do you happen to know what she did eat for breakfast?
How would I know that? Wait a minute. They invited me to go fishing. Maybe they had fish for breakfast, huh?
Mike, last winter, a new, very odd fish turned up in the Everglades. New to science, that is. The Indians have known about it for centuries, it seems. They call it the Dark Evil. Here's a news story on it. Tell me what you think.
When eaten by humans, it produces hallucinations of hopelessness. Grief, despair. The victim alternates between suicidal and homicidal impulses. That's it, huh? They must have caught just that kind of fish.
They?
Yeah, she and her father.
And her father's in the same condition she was. We've got to find him at once.
I doubt if he's there at the cottage. We'll give it a try, huh?
Dr. Clark here, Enid. Put me through to the police, please. Yes, he is. Very well, I'll tell him. Miss Brandon's asking for you.
Maybe she knows where we can find him. I'll see you later, huh?
We didn't know then that my phone call to the cottage had triggered Brandon into action. We didn't know either what action he had in mind.
I'm sorry. I just can't seem to think anymore.
No idea at all where he might have gone, huh?
No. Lytton Key.
Huh?
A new foundation project. An oceanography institute Dad wants to set up. He's been out there many times.
I'll get on it right away. You take it easy now.
Mike, be careful with him.
I know what your father means to you.
No, I meant, don't let him hurt you.
To Brandon, in his crazed state, the two girls were not part of the beautiful underwater sights of Nassau. They were deadly enemies who had to be killed immediately. They saw the knife and reacted fast. The girls had escaped, but Brandon was already heading in another direction. When Brandon reached the dock, he found a boat. Suddenly, he realized which dock it was. The one at which explosives were stored for dredging operations. To his clouded mind, the boat and the explosives called for one thing: action. Brandon left at top speed. A crazed man with a cargo of nitroglycerin. A strangely poisonous fish had been caught and eaten by two friends of mine, Oliver Brandon and his daughter, Lucille. She had been given medical care in time and was recovering from the murderous hallucinations caused by the fish. Her father, the noted philanthropist, was still at large in a stolen speedboat. The police and the helicopter patrol were on the lookout for him. We were after him, too. Inspector Lyons of the Nassau Police and I. We already knew that he'd smashed up his cottage and then tried to stab 2 girls underwater. We didn't know that he'd also committed a robbery. And as a result, at any moment, he could turn into a human bomb.
His daughter did suggest Lytton Key, didn't she?
Yeah? She seemed to think he might be out there.
Good thing it's fairly deserted this time of the day. Wouldn't want him stirring up any more trouble.
Now, let's keep our fingers crossed, huh?
This is helicopter pilot, over.
Thanks. Helicopter patrol. This is WM2050, Inspector Lyons, over.
Just sighted Mr. Brandon in an outboard motorboat heading out the channel. When he saw me, he altered his course. He's making for the lighthouse now, over.
Fine. That's the heading we're on now.
Well, you should overhaul him in a few minutes. Out.
Out.
Oh, that's a lucky break.
WM2050, this is Nassau Police, over.
Nassau Police, this is WM2050, Inspector Lyons, over.
Just established that motorboat which Brandon is driving was stolen by him from Horlesham Dock. He overpowered the guard and stole a quart can of nitroglycerin, over.
Good grief. Acknowledged. Now the harbor area is to be cleared at once. All small craft, all swimmers, everyone. Understood? Over.
Yes, Inspector, out.
A quart of nitroglycerin is enough to blow up the lighthouse.
We better see that we get there first.
I think we've got him.
You sure it's Brandon now?
Absolutely. He's in diving gear.
Oh, yes, huh? I better get into mine. Take over the wheel.
All right.
Don't get too close.
No fear of that. I've seen nitro go off.
Get this boat out of here, Inspector, fast.
There he was, Oliver Brandon apparently did intend to blow up the lighthouse, unless I stopped him. He changed course. Some new hallucination must have entered his mind. What was he after now? I could have rushed him, but I didn't dare make him drop that nitro. The excursion boat anchored in the channel. By some new delusion, this was Brandon's target now. One tap of that can of nitro against the hull, and we'd all be goners. The tourists, Oliver Brandon, and me. The chemicals in the poisonous fish must have given Oliver Brandon some kind of super strength. I had a chemical going for me, too. Adrenaline. I got his weight belt off and took away his mouthpiece. The combination sent him to the surface.
Remarkable recovery, really.
Yeah. The hallucinations are completely gone now. I don't think Mr. Brandon even remembers what he did.
Doesn't he now?
No.
Splendid. You know, I don't think we will either. He's much too good a friend of the colony.
Okay, Inspector. Goodbye.
Well, when are they going to arrest me?
They're not. You're much too good a friend of the colony, so they say.
Oh, believe me, from now on, I'll try to be one. And one of yours, too, Mike. You can't be paid for what you've done, but you just name it and it's yours.
Well, there is a little favor I'd like to ask of you.
What is it?
This ring of yours. You think you can get your daughter to wear another finger? It's a little discouraging.
Still discouraged?
Well, now,
Still discouraged?
Oh, no, not at all. Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of Sea Hunt.
Hey, see anything?
Not yet, Case.
Well, Bubbles, you sure?
I don't see any.
Oh, there, Mina. Just this side of the buoy.
Oh, yes. Sure. Sorry.
No matter. He's all right, apparently. I won't have to go to the rescue.
You, Case?
Well, I can manage underwater. I'm no Mike Nelson, I grant you, but who is?
He's terribly good, isn't he?
Well, that's why I recommended him, Angel. He'll find your necklace if anyone can. Well, Mike?
Did you find it?
No. I'm sorry, Shorty. I didn't find it. No jewel case, no jewels.
I put it in the cupboard down there somewhere, I swear.
It's not there now. Boy, terrific current running down there. Maybe it just swept it out. Boy, that current, it's really something.
You better rest for a while then before you go down again.
I'm calling it quits, Case. After all, the necklace is insured.
No, I don't want to quit, Shorty.
Sorry. I just fired you. With full pay. You catch your breath, and then we'll have some lunch. You can't win 'em all, love. Even if you are Mike Nelson.
Oh, she's below now. What's the real story? Oh, it's wonderful, Whitey. You had me fooled for a minute.
He looked like Mike Nelson. He acted like Mike Nelson. The trouble was, he was not Mike Nelson. I was headed for the Coast Guard base in Miami after 6 weeks in a classified job, meaning that I couldn't tell anyone ever where I'd been or why.
Mr. Nelson?
Yeah?
Larrabee, Atlas Insurance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got all the insurance I need.
Insurance investigating's my line. Some questions for you.
Right now, Mr. Laramie? Look, I just got back.
Larrabee, from where?
Please, I'm in a hurry. Can we talk about this tomorrow?
Marta Gould, you know her?
Marta Gould? No, I never heard of her.
Case Jarrett? He introduced you, she says.
What is this? What are you talking about?
$150,000, value of the necklace she hired you to find off Nassau. You said you couldn't, same for our divers, so we paid off. Last week, stones from the necklace showed in Amsterdam. That's what I'm talking about. Your turn now.
What is this, a gag? I didn't do it.
Go on.
That's all.
That's no good. Look. Who's that?
Sure looks like me.
Mrs. Gould, quote, "That's Mike Nelson, the diver I hired," unquote.
When'd she hire me? And where?
Nassau, 4 weeks ago.
Wasn't me then. I wasn't there.
Well, where were you?
I can't say.
Tell it to the police, then. Let's go.
Oh, now, wait a minute. This is a case of mistaken identity. Give me a chance, and I can prove it to you.
Against this photo?
Yeah.
To Mrs. Gould?
Yes.
With what?
With the original.
Hello.
Larrabee, Mrs. Gould. Back again. In the lounge now. I'll buy you a drink. I have something to show you.
I don't suppose it has anything to do with Mike Nelson. He's still missing, you know.
Case Jarrett, too?
No, he got back last week. But he hasn't heard from Mike either. I don't understand it.
Well, join me. You will.
5 minutes. Bye. Mr. Larrabee. Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Well, it's me, Marna.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
Meeting me. Mike, this isn't funny.
I know. But this is the first time I've met you.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, sorry. I know who you think I am.
The diver I hired to find my necklace.
I don't even know where you lost it.
Mike, you marked that wreck with a buoy. I saw you.
You saw some joker who said he was me. I don't know how to prove it, but I'm going to try. Maybe I can find something out at the wreck.
Mr. Larrabee, I'd like a rain check on that drink, please. I don't feel very well.
Cute. All right, 3 hours. That's all the time you have to prove it, Joker. And we'll know where you are all the time.
Hello.
Case, this is Marna.
Angel, what a nice surprise.
Well, a friend of yours just gave me one that wasn't so nice.
Well, he's no friend of mine then. Who was it?
Mike Nelson.
What? Well, where'd you see him?
Here at my hotel.
I didn't know Mike Nelson was back in Nassau. What are his plans, I wonder, did he say?
Oh, he's going out to the wreck to prove he's somebody else, or somebody else is Mike Nelson, or maybe they're just two other different people. I don't know. Case, I just want you to talk to him. Maybe you can straighten him out. Will you try?
You know I will, Angel. The very first chance I get. Bye.
Wow. Nelson showed up. That's what we were afraid of. And we waited too long, Case.
On the barge deal? We had to. We still can't move until the insurance takes effect.
I can't move in. It's too risky.
Whitey, we've been friends for a long time. I wouldn't let you stick your neck in a noose even if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but two Mike Nelsons?
Suppose we cut it down to one. You.
Investigator Larrabee, hadn't given me much time. I'd used up a lot of it getting diving gear together. Luckily, I found the boat pretty fast. Then the cabin, where I figured that Marna must have left the jewel case. I searched without knowing quite what I was after. I couldn't hope to learn who this other Mike Nelson was by finding his fingerprints, I was for sure. Only half a blade. I was pretty sure I knew how it got that way. I decided to take it to Larrabee. You ever meet yourself? It's kind of weird, especially underwater. Scared me half to death. My double tried to finish the job, but instead his no-good buddy did. I came to with one thought in mind. The phony who looked like my twin brother wasn't going to get away with it, and neither was his partner. I'd get them. Well, my name really wasn't Mike Nelson. It wasn't Superman either. Maybe he could smash his way out of this coffin barehanded. I couldn't. I needed something, some kind of help. Maybe, just maybe, that old refrigerator could be filled with compressed air and turned into a battering ram. I tied it down first, so I'd be able to build up maximum lift inside the box before releasing it. I found out right away, though, that I didn't have enough air in my tanks to fill the box, even with my reserve. That did it. I was finished. Unless I could find some other source of compressed air. A carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. It might work, provided I were lucky, and it hadn't been all used up. I pulled my knife to cut the guy ropes, but I didn't have to.
Hour late. Why?
Ran into a jewel thief. Mike Nelson, you'd call him. He and his buddy tried to drown me. I'm sure they both think they succeeded.
Jewel thief? Proof?
Part of his diving knife. I found in a cupboard down there that he pried open.
Otherwise, cupboard was bare?
Yeah, not a ball. Or a jewel case. I found it in some coral, about 10 feet away, empty.
One of the divers looked like you?
I thought I was looking at myself. Boy, it was uncanny.
Well, that's why they tried to kill you. The same size objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. Now, the thief knew you'd have to stay in Nassau to try to nail him, meaning he'd have to keep out of sight.
Well, he could have left Nassau.
No, he just got back right after Jarrett. Now, why'd he do that?
Pull another swindle?
One that Jarrett had set up in the meantime, probably. And the reason they haven't gone through with it? You.
Case Jarrett agreed with my friend Laramie. He had to get me out of the way. How could he do it? Through his friend, Marna Gould. It wasn't too much of a job for a con man. She wanted to be fooled.
You mean you really don't know Angel?
Why, Mike's been avoiding me? Boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy gets tired of girl.
No, he's ashamed. That schoolboy joke, pretending he didn't know you or who he was himself, was so silly.
Why did he do it, Case?
Well, he thought you were losing interest in him.
Why didn't he tell me? And why hasn't he called since?
Well, he has no phone. I know. Write a note. I'll get it to him somehow.
What would I say?
Well, perhaps that you'd like him to come to luncheon here tomorrow.
Too formal. Too many people.
Cruise on your boat, then. For two.
Well, what do you think?
Why not?
Why not what?
Accept her invitation. You might learn something. I can't myself. I've checked out every lot, dock, and ship on the waterfront, including that barge and dry dock, and that's just been covered.
Anything I can do to help you?
It's my headache now. Luck with yours.
Oh, thanks, Laramie.
Lara B.
Oh, Laramie.
You lied to Case, didn't you, Mike?
About what, Marna?
About what, Marna? You used to call me Shorty when we liked each other.
I like you fine.
Oh, stop it. You act and talk so different. Why did you change?
I didn't.
Don't lie, Mike. I don't mind so much anymore, but it's not fair to Case. He's too good a friend.
Of yours or mine?
Well, he's my business advisor, period.
What's he advised you about lately?
Us. It doesn't matter now, so I can tell you. He advised me to invite you out here today.
That was his idea?
Oh, he meant well. He just thought if we could be together, alone, we might start making sense again. What was that for?
I'll explain it to you later. We're going back.
Going back? Why?
Because good old Case doesn't want us to. Hey, look at that fire. See it?
Where?
Over there.
Oh, yes.
It's like that barge at the dry dock. I wonder what that fella wants over there. It's like he's hailing us for help. Better go over and see what he wants.
What is it? What's the matter?
Do you have any diving gear?
Yeah, why?
Diver I know went under half an hour ago, and he hasn't come up yet. I want to go after him.
What's his name? And why did he do it?
Oh, Mike, this is no time for that.
It's just the time. Well, Jarrett? Get back in your boat. We're leaving.
You're right. He did set fire to the barge.
For the insurance money, huh? A job for the owners.
Oh, we're the owners. We bought it through a dummy corporation in Amsterdam.
You were the diver. You haven't told me his name yet.
I mean, his name is
You say Mike Nelson and you've had it.
Whitey. Whitey Fender.
That's the guy that looks like me, huh?
Yeah.
So if anybody saw him around the barge, they think it was me. Well, they'd be wrong because I was with Marna. Is that proof enough for you, Marna? I'll get my gear.
I got into my gear as fast as I could and told Marna to try to get Laramie out here. There he was, Whitey Fender, caught pretty neatly in a trap of his own making. It didn't thrill me, though, to find him in as much trouble as he once put me. I wasn't about to leave him in it. It didn't take too long to free him, but it tired me out enough to get careless, just for a moment. And that's all the time my double needed to darn near finish me off.
Come here. Look.
Mike?
You couldn't save him, huh?
Marna radioed me. Are you all right?
You better rest, Nelson. Here, I'll help you.
I feel so strange, Mr. Larrabee. I don't know if I've lost a friend or gained one.
Neither, maybe.
Is he aboard?
Who aboard?
Please, we know who you are.
Oh, now don't start that again. What do you want, more proof? I'm Mike Nelson. He's Whitey Fender. Tell her. Now, don't you believe me either?
I'm not sure now. Wait a minute. What's my name?
Laramie.
Right. He's Mike Nelson. There'll be numbers soon.
Oh, yeah. You're much better looking. I can see that now.
Is that the only difference?
I don't know yet.
You'd like to find out?
That's not the only difference.
I'll be back next week at the same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?
My name is Mike Nelson. My current project was collecting bottom samples for the Marine Research Society. Not the most exciting job in the world, But it was easy. A welcome change from salvage and deep search. Bottom surge caught me. I had to fight it. As I did, I saw the piece of paper. Only it wasn't a piece of paper. It was a $20 bill. I saw another, and another. It was raining money, 3 fathoms deep in the Pacific Ocean. It could have come from anywhere. At the moment, I didn't care. I just helped myself. I should have remembered my mother's old saying about money not earned, buying nothing but trouble.
And now we present another thrill-packed episode of Dempsey of the Deep.
I was 200 feet down in the waters off Nova Scotia. In December, that can be chilly work. The cold didn't bother me half as much as the certain knowledge that I wasn't the only diver there. I knew that unless I were more careful than I'd ever been before, this would be Brad Dempsey's last dive. I fired my trusty spear gun. I missed. Then, from out of nowhere, that presence I had only sensed was upon me. This was a man to be reckoned with.
Talk to you?
Well, forget to pay a fine or something?
Or something. Well, do we talk here, Mr. Nelson, or downtown?
Oh, sure. Come on in.
Well, it's more than a $2 fine, you know, for passing counterfeit money.
Oh, that's impossible. Oh, it couldn't have been counterfeit money. I checked one of them at the bank. They said it was okay.
One of them?
Well, yeah, sure. I found a bunch of them at Sabre Cove.
You checked one with the bank, and then you spent one at a local store. That one came back to me. I have several dozen like it. Makes me very interested in how you happened to find it.
Listen, I'll be glad to tell you. I'll be glad to help you in any way I can, but I get the feeling that you think...
I'm not thinking anything. I'm just gathering facts.
Better gather me a lawyer.
I'm Bill Sonderman. I checked with Commander Mason at the Coast Guard. He said to shake you up a little.
Well, you sure did a good job of it. My friend Mason.
He is your friend, Mike. I'm here because he recommended you. Have you got the rest of those bills?
Yeah. She looked like the real thing to me. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Did to the bank, too.
Yeah, except for one thing. All the serial numbers are the same. You see there?
Oh, my gosh. They sure are. I never thought to notice that.
These bills are perfect otherwise because they were printed from perfect plates. They were printed on bleached out $1 bills, so the paper's perfect, too. Mike, we have to recover those plates. And you're our best bet.
Well, okay. What do I do?
Keep on working the cove. Keep your eyes and ears open, and every time you get a chance, spend one of those bills. Talk it up about how you found them. I'll tip off the newspapers and get you interviewed with pictures and all that.
What for?
Well, maybe one of the men we're after will come after you. You know what to do then.
I know what Dempsey of the Deep would do.
Don't get on the phone, Mike. One call to us and you'll have more help than you can imagine.
That's the part I like.
Dempsey of the Deep. Who's that?
You never heard of Dempsey of the Deep?
Well, no.
Ask Commander Mason about him.
All right.
Sonderman's job turned out to be more tedious than collecting bottom samples. The next 10 days, I worked my way along the full curve of Sabre Cove. Underwater, I kept trying to find that same strong current. Not that I had much chance. There are hundreds of currents. I had just decided to surface when I saw them. I'd seen other divers in the past 2 days, but none of them had been towing seagoing bundles. I decided to see where this one was going to.
Chaz? The beach, I mean. It's so private. I bet you nobody knows about it but us.
Penny.
What do you want, mister? Ask him what he wants, Chaz. Ask him.
We do something wrong, sir?
Just a little curious about that bundle you've been towing.
Oh, that's our lunch.
What?
Our lunch? What difference does it make? We're having a picnic.
Is that so?
Of course it's so.
Yes, sir. Penny made everything in here herself. If you'd like to see.
It's lunch, all right. Looks like a good one, too. Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
How can he say that? How can he? Spoiled it all.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, don't be. You didn't spoil anything.
Oh, he did, too.
Penny! Excuse me, sir. Penny!
Now, that did it. As a detective, I was a good diver. The one concrete result of my 10 days gumshoeing had been to put the damper on a teenage picnic. If I had known the trouble that those kids would meet up with after their picnic, I'd never have left that barren little island. I headed for the mainland and the first available phone booth to resign as an amateur Secret Serviceman, and pronto.
It isn't fair. Really, it isn't.
What isn't fair, Penny?
The whole thing. Chas, do you love me?
Well, you know I do.
Well, then let's get married. Right now, today. Let's.
Oh, look, honey, we just got out of school. Well, which way to turn yet? Besides, I haven't got a job, you know that.
You don't want to marry me, is that what you're saying? Chas, like, don't you want to live? Don't you want to see things and do everything? Don't you?
Sure I do. Not all in one day.
Take me home, Chas. I said take me home.
Well, all right, if that's the way you want it. Better clean this mess up first.
That's right, Chaz. Always do the right thing.
Sonderman.
Bill? Mike Nelson.
Oh, yeah, Mike. What have you got?
Nothing. No good, Bill. After 10 days, I should have come up with something. You know, if I'm your best bet, you sure picked a loser.
You're wrong, Mike. I may lose, but not on you.
So, what do? Wash it out?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'll have to dig up another lead on those plates. But I can't thank you enough for your try.
Thank you for all that publicity. You know, I've been mistaken for everybody since those pictures came out. I'll see you, Bill. So long.
Hey there, you're Nelson, aren't you? The guy that found that money underwater?
That's right, I'm the guy. Found it at Saber Cove.
Yeah, I saw your picture in the paper with the boats. I was wondering how you happened on all that dough.
Wish I knew.
Come on, you know. I saw your boat in the cove quite a few times last 5 or 6 days.
Oh, yeah, you have, huh? How come?
Well, I've been looking for the green stuff myself, only on top of the water. Waste of time, huh?
I don't know. What I found was underwater.
Well, that's where it comes from, but you saw just where. At Little Island, I bet. Sawtooth?
Nothing but sand and stone. No place to hide anything on that island.
Yeah. Well, maybe so.
Just a waste of your time to hunt around Sawtooth.
Well, you want to know. So long, Lucky.
Chaz, I'm leaving.
You wait for me. I'll be through in a minute.
Penny was on her own stubborn way, and to a destination she couldn't have guessed. A destination that was being determined for her by the diver that she didn't even see. I was back at Saber Cove for another look at this supposedly deserted island. Bill Sonderman had agreed that there probably wasn't any clue out here to those counterfeit plates. But I had to come back anyhow. A nosy character on the mainland who asked a few too many pointed questions had stirred up my interest again.
Help! Help me! Chas, he's gone. Oh, help me, mister. Help me, please.
Easy now. Slow down.
I went back, but he wasn't there.
Easy, so I can understand you.
Oh, maybe he's drowned. It's all my fault. I picked at him, and now he's gone.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You hear me? Stop it. If I'm going to help you, I need some facts.
Chas, my boyfriend, we had a fight, and I left him. I was so mad. And then I went back, and he wasn't there anymore.
Yeah? Well, tell me now, was he all right when you left him?
Yes. Yes, but I went right back. Not 5 minutes. And I found his tanks and his flippers, but Chas was gone. Oh, do you think he could have just walked into the water?
This beach. Was it where I talked to you?
Yes, yes it is. Oh, please find him, please.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
There. That'll hold. All we need is more $20 bills floating around the place.
Well, it wasn't my fault. The bundle broke.
Yeah. Get the plates.
Well, kid, you see the mess you caused? Well, you two are breaking the law. You know that, don't you?
That depends on how you look at it. This stuff we're making is good money. Look, these are as good as you'll find in the treasury anytime. You get the small stuff, all you can hold. I'll get the rest and meet you downstairs. You know where we're putting it?
Yeah, then we meet back here.
For the press. Okay.
You know it's against the law, and you're going to keep right on doing it.
We could have if you hadn't stumbled in. Now we'll have to knock off till I can find another place to print the money. We could kill you. They might think it was an accident.
You'd kill me? Just like that?
Why not? You're in our way.
That's enough reason.
You know something? I never met anybody in my life like you before.
Penny and I were still circling the island, trying to find the beach where she and her boyfriend had picnicked. It took a while, but we finally found what we were looking for.
This is the spot now.
Yes, it is.
Okay, better suit up.
Mr. Nelson, let me go with you.
No, you better not. I don't know what I'll find.
Do you think Chas is hurt or something?
I don't think anything. Now, you stay right here, you understand?
I had no specific plan for searching. The island was small enough that I'd find her boyfriend if I covered the ground thoroughly. And that's what I planned to do when I got ashore. That's what I did after I hit the beach. And that's why finally I found myself investigating a cave.
Charlie?
Yeah, who is it?
It's me, Mike Nelson. Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine, sir, but you better hurry up. That big fella said he'd be back right away. The press.
Oh, so that's where they did it, huh? Pretty clever. They bring a paper in from underwater, and they take the phony money out the same way, huh? Oh, those plates. You seen them around any place?
The big fella took them with him.
Oh, we gotta get them somehow.
No, wait a minute. Wait. If you leave me so it looks like I'm still tied up when they get back here, maybe we'd have a chance of getting them.
Good idea. You work on it, huh? Your gal, Penny. She's on my boat. She's very concerned about you, so you be careful, huh?
Chaz waited in the cave while I headed out toward the underwater entrance to the island. I knew the counterfeiters would be returning by water. And that's where I preferred to meet them, on my own terms. I waited. He spotted me a moment after I spotted him. He evidently had no taste for a fight, but I did.
Where's the other one?
So I'm gonna find out. All right, you. I want some straight answers, and I want them fast. You understand?
Listen, none of this was my idea. You gotta believe me.
That buddy of yours has the plates. I want them. Hear me? Answer me.
Why don't you ask me?
Okay, I will. You still have them?
What do you care? Whitney, get some rope for our friend Nelson.
Looks like this is what we're after.
Yeah, good man, Chaz. Government's gonna be happy about that.
So it all started with Penny telling me I was too careful.
Oh, Mikey doesn't tell it all. Now, you tell it all, Chas. I asked him to marry me, and he refused.
Well, he sounds like a very level-headed young man.
Oh, and I thought you were my friend.
Well, anyway, we compromised. You know, the publicity we got from finding the plates got me a good part-time job. And I'll be able to go on to school, and so will Penny. And we're going to be married after the freshman year.
Congratulations.
Oh, almost forgot.
You're a level-headed young man. He never misses Dempsey of the Deep.
Neither do I.
And now we present another thrill-packed episode of Dempsey of the Deep.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.
This was the year that I missed it. Father Guerra had reminded me in plenty of time. He always does. But when the traditional ceremony took place in España Harbor this spring, I was tied up on a job a long way away. This is how it's been done for 2 centuries, at the start of each year's fishing. The blessing of the waters by the Lady of Light, patron saint of España. An accident. Upsetting, deplorable. But according to Father Guerra, just an accident. The village agreed with him. Then other accidents started happening. 1 week after the statue was lost, Hurricane Carol blew down the town. It tried to anyway. The statue hadn't been found yet. 2 weeks later, the fish were missing. They just stopped running offshore. Was there a connection? Most of the town thought so. Some still do. I didn't. When I came down to help recover the statue, I didn't see any connection between losing it and what happened afterward. Now I don't know. I honestly don't. See if you do. Come to España to rescue a saint. Her statue, that is. La Señora de la Luz, the Lady of Light, lost overboard 5 weeks before. I'd made 14 dives for it. Past 3 days, 15 counting this one. That's a lot of diving. I knew it. But I also knew how much it'd mean to my sponsors for me to find the lady. Tio Delgado was the owner of the village's salvage boat. Nita, his niece, was just home from school in Mexico City. And Father Guerra, the village priest. He was one of my oldest friends.
It is too much. You must stop for today. No, I just gotta chill, that's all.
I'll get you something to drink.
Thanks, Nita. Now, don't you worry. I'll be all right as soon as I get warm.
Bueno. Then you will go back down again, eh?
Well, one more time anyway. You've done enough for today, Mike.
Well, Mike is not a boy. He knows what he's able to do.
For our sake, he may try to do more.
The statue must be found.
Not at the risk of his life. I'm with you, Father. But there's a sector down there that I haven't searched at all yet. Suppose that I just spot check it, huh? And then we'll call it a day. There's enough coral down there to hide a dozen statues.
It may not be there all the same.
Well, after 15 dives, it's about time I got lucky, don't you think?
See. Right. Don't you think it is too soon to go back down?
Don't you worry now, you hear?
Vaya con Dios, Mike.
This was one time I was hoping that wishing would make it so. I knew better, though. Finding anything underwater, even a larger-than-life-size statue, takes planning, patience, and luck. Mostly luck. The plan was based on the approximate position where the statue went overboard. It had landed, presumably, at point X. I'd marked off a giant square with X as the center and cross-hatched it into 16 smaller squares. This was number 13. I'm not superstitious, but maybe that's why it happened. being attacked by something unseen, weird, evil, like a swarm of gnats, millions of them, stabbing into my ears, my eyes, my nose, deep into the marrow of my bones. Where'd they come from? The grotto, maybe. I had to find out. Right now. I couldn't take much more of this. Had to find out. I had to get out.
Yes. Who fished me out?
You.
Oh.
I'm sorry it happened. The padre was right.
It was too much even for you, Mike. You were more tired than you thought.
No, I wasn't tired. It was something that almost killed me.
What, Mike? What almost killed you? What did it look like? You saw it, didn't you?
No, I didn't see it. Didn't see anything. I felt it. It was all around me. It was a humming in my ears. A cloud of fire. Sting.
Dios! We must take care of him muy pronto. Head back to port.
Sí, padre.
A little more, Mike?
No, thanks. This is great. I'm feeling much better now.
Gracias a Dios. I never would have forgiven myself, nor Tío Ramon.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm certainly not looking forward to the next time I have to tackle that thing.
There will be no next time. If we cannot find the statue, we will get another. You will not risk your life again. That would be Tío Ramon. You have done enough. I will tell him so.
Buenos dias, padre. ¿Qué pasa? Something here for Nelson.
Buenos dias.
There he is. Hi. Whatever ails you, boy, got something here to fix it. Doctor's samples. Well, that's very nice of you, but I'm feeling much better, thanks. Oh, I don't think we met. You're a doctor, huh? Of archaeology. Wallace, tank for Tankard. But up in the hills digging, had to quit. Too much sun, still feel it. Salt tablet? Peppermint. I'm on a salt-free diet. Anyway, I cut out for town, ran into Nita Delgado. She told me a tale to curl your beard. My beard, that is, about you. You mean what happened to me underwater? It's true, you know. Don't doubt it for a minute, boy. Anyway, back at my place, I've got everything you need. Everything I need? For what? To kill it. I'll help you. What do you say?
daytime nightmare? And I was right smack in the middle of one. Several hours earlier, an invisible something had almost killed me while I was searching the harbor for the statue of a saint. Now, a mysterious stranger was offering to help me kill it. Did I say mysterious? This stranger was actually overwhelming. Why was he so eager to force his help on me? What was going on here?
What do you say, boy? Time's a-wasting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I figured I've just about had it.
Oh, by the way, Padre, Nita asked if you'd mind coming over to Tio Ramon's as soon as you could.
Of course. He's anxious to know about Michael. Will you be all right if I go now?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, maybe I better tell him myself, huh? I mean that I'm through diving here.
I will not tell him then.
Adios, Padre.
Adios, señores.
Adios, Padre. You aren't serious about not diving, are you?
Uh-huh.
Look, one question. Come up with yes and I'll sing like a bird. No, and it's goodbye, Charlie.
Okay, what's the question?
This cloud of fire Nita said you ran into.
Yeah?
Did it feel as if you're being stung by a million bees? And did you hear a humming sound that went right through you and shook you to pieces?
Oh, sounds like you've been there too, huh?
No, I'm an egghead. Physics, electronics, so on. Also intelligence, military, that's why I'm here. Dig?
No? Why are you here?
The bad guys have been working up to an invasion.
Oh, are you kidding? What's there to invade here?
Remember how the Japanese took most of the Pacific, one step at a time? Spania would be a long step in the right direction, if for the bad guys.
With our fleet out there and our air watch?
They have submarines, and Espana's got a dandy harbor.
Topside, yeah. But downstairs, you need X-ray eyes to get through some of those channels. Oh, you think that's what hit me, huh? Vibrations from a radio beacon.
Ultra high frequency, I'd say. Of course, I can't be positive till I see it. And I'm not a diver, so a picture will have to do. What about it?
I'm sorry. I didn't bring my underwater camera with me.
I did. Well?
One jolt like that's enough for me, thanks.
Mike, the word is the invasion isn't more than a few days off. I don't think I can get another diver in time.
Then you better start trying.
You don't really believe me, do you?
I don't know. But I do know that I'm not anxious to be a hero. I stick my neck out every once in a while when I have to, when there's no other choice, but,
This is one of those times, Mike. If you change your mind, contact Nita.
What do you do with a problem that won't let you sleep or rest or even sit still? I fish. I find that it gets the kinks out of a problem. This one, though, it stayed on my shoulders like the old man of the sea. And it nagged me, like Sinbad, right back to where it came from. What Tank Wallace called Hispania's dandy little harbor. Tio Ramon was glad to see me and delighted to take me back to sea. Tio thought that I was resuming the search for the statue. I didn't have the heart to disillusion him. I couldn't have anyhow. What I was doing now was top secret. Tio didn't even question the camera. Somehow he thought that I was going to use it to speed my search for the lady. Tio wasn't far off the beam. Wallace didn't want pictures of that infernal vibrator just to paste in a scrapbook. If it turned out to be a homing beacon for a submarine invasion force, he wanted to kill it. And with that out of the way, who knows? I might find the statue at that. There it was again. The swarm of bees with death in their stingers. I was surer than ever now that I'd found what I was looking for. I wondered, though, why the bees weren't buzzing much, yet. I had been right about where it was. What it was, besides being the source of the vibrations, I couldn't say. All I did know was that for some reason, it was operating below capacity. Remote control, Wallace had said, meaning it might shift into high gear any second. My cue was to get my pictures and get out.
Good picture.
How can you tell what it is?
Oh, it's a directional transmitter, all right. Powerful enough to guide a sub in from 50 miles out.
And to kill a man 50 feet from it if it's on full.
Yeah, I can't understand why it wasn't.
My lucky day, I guess. But seriously, does that mean that maybe they called off the invasion?
We'll know soon. I've queried Region. I understand regardless.
To kill it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no problem at all. If it stays on standby, but if it doesn't?
Relax, boy. You're off the hook. Region's sending in 2 divers with special protective equipment. They'll be here in the morning.
Well, I can't say I'm sorry. That means that the area will be clear by noon for diving, huh?
I hope.
I think I'll go down to the docks and tell Tio.
Buenas tardes, señores.
Buenas tardes, Padre.
I have a message for you, Senor Wallace, from the alcalde.
Yes, Padre.
It came over the telephone, and he wrote it out for you. I had it here somewhere. Well, no matter. I remember the words. Strange. Very strange. The alcalde did not understand it either.
Yeah, tell me. Maybe I will.
6 starfish set out to see your midnight sea. Do you know what it means?
I do. Con su permiso. Come on, Mike.
Michael, do you know what it means?
Yes, I do. It means I'm back on the hook again. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Starfish meant submarine. Your midnight sea meant that the invaders were due 6.5 hours from now. Figuring their speed at 8 knots, they were about 55 miles from España, almost within range of the transmitter. I had just an outside chance to blast it first and come out alive. I didn't waste a minute after we dropped anchor. If the news was going to be bad, I wanted to know it now. This was the danger zone. I'd be able to hear that invisible death in a second, if it were buzzing my way. I was still on standby. For how long? Only the man at the remote control switch had the word on that. 5 minutes. Then the man at the remote control woke up. This time the vibrations were so violent, they began shaking the grotto to pieces. The lady, La Senora de la Luz. If it were the last thing I did on Earth, I was going to get her statue back on dry land. Fish came back too. Maybe because there weren't any vibrations to bother them now. Maybe because the image of La Senora de la Luz was home again. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll be back next week at this same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh? In the rich marine world of Cato Bay, I was the only intruder. Small wonder. These were cold waters for diving, even in a wetsuit. But I wasn't down here for fun. A hard-headed construction company was paying me for every chill. That's how I keep eating. My name's Mike Nelson. It was a survey job, plotting the problems that the engineers would have to solve in running a pipeline across the bottom of the bay. I'd been at it a week now. I was just about halfway across.
Except for the zero-type weather, I'd run into no trouble to speak of. This job was so routine, I had to keep reminding myself, the way a driver does on a turnpike, to check my gauges and observe the other rules of survival, like quitting at the right time. I didn't notice the dinghy tied to the stern of my boat. It turned out that I should have.
Mike Nelson, isn't it?
Ah, that's right. You, make a little tour of my boat?
Uh-huh.
I don't think we've met, have we?
No, reckon not. I'm Sheriff Walsh. Ed here is my deputy.
What can I do for you?
You're under arrest.
I'd been diving in Cato Bay all week. The few people I'd met hadn't seemed very friendly, but I hadn't thought they'd meant anything by it. Now I knew better. I'd just been arrested. But why?
Law's the law, Mr. Nelson.
You mean there's no diving in these waters?
That's right. These waters have been restricted for more than a year now.
All I'm doing is making a survey.
Well, it makes no difference what you're doing. You can't do it.
But the Twin State Construction Company has hired me to do this job. They intend to lay a pipeline across the bay for communication lines.
Oh, they do they?
If you don't believe me, you can check. There's a ship-to-shore radio phone.
Oh, I don't have to check. These waters have been restricted for any kind of diving now. There's an ordinance on the book that says so. Let's don't have any more argument about it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Call the biggest corporation lawyer you got. Ain't nobody big enough to say you're going to dive here when I say you ain't.
Coast Guard, this is WM-205, over. Coast Guard, WM-205, over. Sheriff Walsh didn't seem to care that the pipeline project tied in with national defense. The Coast Guard cared a lot. Commander Cornelius said he'd look into it at once. But all this time, my boat was heading away from the base, toward Cato City, with Walsh's deputy at the wheel. Cato Bay doesn't seem the same somehow. Cato City either, for that matter.
Same as what?
As it did the last time I was here, about 3 years ago. Used to be a ferry line across the bay, wasn't there?
Yeah, we got rid of that. Been lots of changes around here lately.
Good ones?
We think so, mister. We got Frank Johnson to thank for that. He's running the Fisherman's Cooperative now.
He is, huh?
Yes, he is. And that's what keeps Cato City going, and the folks in it able to hold body and soul together. You couldn't do that when Craig was running things. Unless you'd want to get down on your knees to him.
Yeah, I remember. He was kind of a dictator, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. But Frank Johnson's as good a man as Craig was a bad one. He's made Cato City a good place to live in. And I aim to keep it that way.
How? By arresting me?
At the Coast Guard?
Uh-huh.
Mike.
Hi, Lieutenant. Commander Cornelius radioed us. You running into some kind of difficulty on your survey?
Yeah. Sheriff Walsh doesn't like the idea of anything swimming around in the water that isn't a fish.
What do you mean?
Ask him.
I don't get it, Sheriff.
Well, we got an ordinance against diving, and I aim to see it's enforced.
You know, that sounds like a peculiar ordinance. I'd like to have a look at it.
Oh, no, that won't be necessary. You don't have to go to all that trouble.
No trouble at all. Let's make for port.
It turned out that there wasn't any ordinance, and that the sheriff of Cato City had no jurisdiction in Cato Bay. Wyatt Walsh decided to make trouble for me just now, after leaving me alone all week. Maybe I'd suddenly come close to something that he didn't want me to find in Cato Bay. So, I headed back to find it. I must have been wrong. I'd searched the bottom of this ice bucket for the best part of an hour, and I hadn't come near finding a thing. The middle of a bay is an odd place to find anything that didn't originally belong in a boat. And this sure didn't. It was a license plate for a commercial vehicle, a truck, I'd say. It had been issued about 3 years back. What was it doing here? No, it wasn't my problem. But something told me it would be worth my while to solve it. My boat was gone. My diving flag, too. That meant someone had cut her adrift. Walsh, maybe, out of pure spite. Or for a worse reason. Maybe a smoke flare would bring me some help. I doubted it, though. I was 12 miles out. "20 minutes later, I was sure no help was coming. I'd have to make it to shore on my own, if I could. I ditched my tanks. They were just about empty. I took one last look around and started my unplanned marathon. Four hours is a lot of swimming. I was plenty tired. Still nothing in sight. I didn't know how much longer I could keep going. Then, out of the blue, help appeared. Luckily, the boat headed straight for me.
I'm sure glad you came along, mister. How much farther is it to shore?
Quite a ways. Sure admire you for trying it.
I didn't have any choice. I was diving. Somebody cut my boat adrift.
That's so? Found a boat a while back, a cabin cruiser.
Oh, where'd they take it, you know?
Yeah, Purse Hills Docks, that's where we're heading. Sad thing, cutting a man's boat loose.
Yeah, you can say that again. Plenty sad.
Hey, I recollect hearing about you. You're that fella's been doing that, exploring at the bottom of the bay.
Something like that. I'm making a survey for a pipeline.
Folks here against it. If I were you, I'd leave off diving in Cato Bay.
I'm sorry. When I start something, I like to finish it.
Well, A man can't always do what he wants to. Never sometimes. What are you doing with that?
I found it down below.
Why would you go and put yourself to the bother of bringing that up?
Just my curiosity, I guess. Why would a thing like this be out there in the bottom of the bay?
Just a piece of tin. If that was me, I'd throw it away.
My curiosity about that piece of tin stayed with me all the way to shore. The minute we landed, I wired the State License Bureau. They answered promptly. The plate had been issued to Emmanuel Cragg, 1053 Palms Avenue, Cato City. At 1053 Palms Avenue, I met Mrs. Emmanuel Cragg. She threw me quite a curve.
And you don't know?
Don't know what?
Craig's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Cragg.
No need to be. Nobody else is, including me. Was a time I would have been. That was long ago.
How long ago did he die?
He's been missing a couple of years now.
Oh, then he might still be alive.
No. No, he's quite dead. I'm sure of that.
Well, doesn't the fact that I found that license plate at the bottom of the bay change things a little? I mean, isn't it possible?
Please, I don't want to listen to morbid theories about my husband. He's gone. That's all there is to it. He's gone. And this thing means absolutely nothing. Just don't want you to go to no more trouble about it.
Trouble?
Well, I mean, I don't rightly know what I mean. I just don't want you wasting time looking, that sort of thing.
Looking for what?
How'd I know? Anything. Fact is, this simply doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry to have bothered you, Mrs. Cragg. If by any chance you would like to see me again, try the bottom of Cato Bay. I might just be there. It was along in here that I'd picked up the license plate. So that's where I began looking for whatever else it was that Mrs. Cragg didn't want me to learn about her missing husband. That had to be it. The commercial vehicle for which the plate had been issued. A truck, or what was left of it. Cragg's truck. One look told me Cragg hadn't drowned in his truck. I'd found something that explained a lot of other things to me. I saw a boat directly above me. I knew it couldn't be mine. Whose then? And what was it up to? Now I knew what that boat was up to. It was built to catch a lot of fish at one time. Fighting it only turned the net into a spider web, with no way of breaking the strands. something had to give within minutes, or I'd had it. I'd drown in this spider web on the bottom of Cato Bay. And I made one last try at getting my knife to cut myself free. No use. Now a knife was coming straight at me, and the diver behind it seemed to have just one object in mind. I was wrong. He wasn't out to get me. He was out to cut me free. Yeah. Thanks to you. What's your name?
Ted.
Glad to meet you, Ted. Very glad. You saved my life. Hey, tell me, how'd you happen to be out here anyway? What are you diving for in the middle of the bay?
Well, the fact is, I wanted to meet you. I don't get much of a chance to talk shop with divers like you.
You didn't throw that net down on me, did you? I'd sure like to know who did.
Well, what's the difference? I didn't do it on purpose.
You saw that truck down there.
Yes?
I'm pretty sure it was Craig's. And somebody didn't want me to see it. If I did see it, they didn't want me to tell anybody about it. But I'm going to.
Well, who are you going to tell? Sheriff Walsh?
Frank Johnson.
Why him?
He's the head of the cooperative here. He's a good man, I understand. I'd rather tell him than that sheriff.
Well, you can usually catch him out by the banks this time of day, a couple of miles farther out.
Huh? You want to come with me?
Sure, I'll come along.
Hoist the anchor for me, will you? Hello again.
Hello, mister.
Mr. Nelson, this is my father. Dad, this
Your
is...
father? Frank Johnson? Hey, why didn't you tell me this before?
Well, what does it matter now?
Dad.
Why did you go out and save him?
I was on my way to see Mr. Nelson when I saw you lose your net. You didn't know he was there. It was an accident, wasn't it?
No.
Look, don't listen to me. Don't know what he's saying.
You try to kill me just now? That doesn't make sense. You saved my life the other day.
No, I didn't.
What do you mean? I could have drowned if you hadn't happened along when you did.
I didn't happen along. I came looking for you. I knew you'd be in trouble.
You did?
I cut your boat adrift. And later on, I felt I'd done wrong. I had no call to do that to you. Not even knowing if you'd found it yet.
Craig's truck? So, it's been you all along. You were the one who didn't want me to find it, huh?
That's right. Because then you'd know that I killed Craig.
That's enough, Dad. They can't prove a thing.
Yes, they can. I was driving the ferry in those days. The only way that truck could be where he found it is if it came off the boat.
Why? Why did you do it?
It doesn't matter now.
Tell him why. You were man enough to do it, tell him.
The boy's mother was sickly. She died. There wasn't any money. Craig sold us out, ruined the cooperative. I couldn't give her proper care. There wasn't any money. Then Craig drove aboard one night, waving a gun. I told him to give it over. He wouldn't do it. Instead, he jumped out of the truck and shot at me.
How many times?
Twice. Then everything came up in me. Gun or no gun, I had to hit him. And I hit him till he was dead.
Now what? Go on.
I put him in the truck and let him roll off the ferry. We didn't think anybody'd ever find out.
We? Who else was in on it?
Nobody. Wasn't anyone else but me on board. Seems like the whole town knew. Walsh, Purcell, Burroughs. They never said a word.
Hey, you got a lot of friends here.
Well, we've been through a lot together. I'd hold my tongue for them, too.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't hold mine.
You're going to.
No, Dad, no!
One murder is enough for a man to bear. Guess I should have turned myself in a long time ago.
That's right, but not for murder.
But I killed Craig.
Now you had to defend yourself. He shot at you twice first, you know.
It's easy to say, no way to prove it.
I wonder. This gun carries 6 bullets. Should be 4 left. One, 2, 3, 4. Defense rests.
Think they'd believe me in court?
Well, like I said, you got a lot of friends here. You've also got a friendly witness about the gun. You wouldn't want me to hold my tongue about that now, would you?
Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of Sea Hunt.
Americans have taken to the water in unbelievable numbers. I like that. I'm Mike Nelson and a diver myself. But I definitely don't like some of the traffic problems created by it, or some of the people on the water who know no self-discipline. I was worried about just that one Saturday when I was shooting photographs for an underwater supply catalog. I was below with two of my favorite people, Virginia Bryant and Noreen Carr, both wonderful models. Virgie was a lot of fun. Noreen, though, was, well, she was something special. I'd known her for only a few weeks, but already she was occupying a good deal of my time and thought. Above us was a weekend mecca for fishermen, speedboat enthusiasts, and water skiers. Our deadline gave us no choice. The water lanes were clearly marked with flags and buoys, but some of the boatmen seemed to think the flags were targets. Their shenanigans not only disturbed our work, they were dangerous to everyone on or in the water. Some of the boats were as heavy on horsepower as their skippers were light on horse sense. This one ignored completely the diving flag that I'd planted to indicate we were working below. Either he didn't know what it meant, or he just didn't care. Oh, that was it. The last picture of the day. I had an appointment in town, but the girls wanted to stay and enjoy the water. They had no reason not to. But I was worried about the irresponsible water traffic above. I finally agreed to leave them behind. I figured I had no right to interfere with their fun. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made. Hello?
Mike, this is Virgie.
Virgie, what's the matter?
Oh, Mike, I've been trying and trying to reach you. Noreen's been hurt. They don't even know if she's going to live.
What? What's happened? Where are you?
Lakeside Hospital. She was hit by a speedboat, hit and run. I was just coming up from the bottom.
Lakeside Hospital?
Yes.
I'm on my way. How bad is it?
Propeller caught her. They're not sure yet, but they may have to amputate her leg, Mike.
Oh, no.
And her arm.
What? Oh. How did it happen?
I don't know. She must have just been getting into a dinghy when the speedboat came out of nowhere.
Did you see it?
No, nobody else did. I was down on the bottom, and then suddenly I heard a roar of an engine getting very loud, and then suddenly Noreen started screaming and screaming.
Oh, it must have been terrible. What about her folks? They been notified?
She hasn't anyone in the world but us, Mike.
Nobody at all?
Not a soul. She said they have to amputate. She doesn't even want to go on living.
Oh, poor Norrie.
Oh, I don't blame her. I'd feel the same way myself.
It's not definite, is it? They're going to have to amputate?
No.
Well, so?
But she has no money. She has no insurance. She has nothing.
That hit-and-run driver, he's not going to get away with this.
You know, Mike, it's going to cost her thousands of dollars.
No, it won't.
What?
He's going to pay for it.
Who?
The guy who hit her.
But you don't know who did it, do you?
No, not yet, but I'm going to find out. That's one thing she's not going to have to worry about, where the money's coming from.
Larry, I still think you ought to turn yourself in. It's not too late.
Turn myself in? No one knows it was me.
You can't be sure. They may trace you.
How? My boat was hardly damaged at all. What damage there was, I fixed, personally. There were absolutely no witnesses. No one.
Why didn't you stop?
Well, I panicked. I took off.
You say that to the police or the Coast Guard or somebody, but say it now and they'll forgive you.
Are you out of your mind? Look, I'm a star. I play heroes. This would finish me. It's box office poison. They'd drum me out of show business.
Larry, I'm not just your agent. I'm your friend. I'm trying to tell you what's best for you. If you tell them now, they'll forgive you. It was a mistake. You corrected it. But if you don't and you get nailed...
You're the only one who could nail me, because I was fool enough to tell you about it. And I think you just better forget that I did. You hear me?
I hear you.
The Coast Guard was already making a routine check, and I began my own in civilian clothes. Every boat that went by looked suspicious, especially if it went by fast. Each harbor seemed to have an endless line of boats to check on. Then I was back in my Coast Guard auxiliary uniform, openly checking with the commodores of yacht clubs and boat owners. I questioned the masters of small yacht harbors. And I especially interrogated the operators of boat yards and repair shops. But at every stop, I drew a blank.
We're still nowhere, Mike. Nowhere at all.
That poor girl.
Yeah, how is she now? Have they had to amputate?
Not yet.
I'd give a year's pay to crack this case. Not just on account of her, but safety on our waterways has become a national problem.
Yeah, I know.
On some holidays, almost as many people die on the water as on the highways. It's got to be brought under control.
Hey, wait a minute. When the police make an arrest on an auto hit-and-run case, they find the same thing over and over. The guy was a bad driver all along, with a history of traffic violations.
Yeah.
Well, why shouldn't the same thing apply in a speedboat hit-and-run?
It makes sense to me. There are at least 6 owners around here we've had to give citations to time and again. A couple of them we've had to turn over to the United States Attorney. Oh, it might not do any good, though. They've had plenty of time to cover up any evidence.
Topside, yeah. But they wouldn't bother to fix up any scratches in the bottom of the boat. Nobody'd see them. Nobody but a diver, that is.
A diver? Yes. Here's one you can start on right now. 2 citations in 6 months
for reckless and negligent operation.
Oh, boy.
Speed crazy.
Larry Putnam?
The big movie star.
Paint marks, made in a collision. Maybe from my dinghy. They were the right color. I doubted that this could be the hit-and-run boat. I couldn't be that lucky. But if it were, then laboratory analysis would find the traces of paint were from my dinghy. I began taking some samples. I had the samples I needed. Next, I wanted to check the propeller for possible telltale dents. No nicks or dents. That might or might not mean something, depending on what the lab came up with on the paint sample. At Lakewood Hospital, Noreen Carr was off the critical list now. She wasn't even trying to get well. But unless she did, her doctors would have no choice. They'd have to amputate. I was trying to make her fight again.
What did you say?
I mean it, Nora. You've got to fight. It's rough on you. I know. Plenty of...
No, you said something else. Something about digging in.
That's right. Dig in. With both...
Go on, Mike. With both feet? Suppose I only have one.
I was only... Look, the odds are all in your favor that you're going to walk out of this hospital on 2 feet. If you want to.
Want to?
Want to. With all your heart and soul. With everything you've got in you. You've got to know that everything's going to be all right. You've got to have faith.
Mike, that's easy to say.
I know it is, sure. But what else have you got if you don't have faith?
Nothing.
All right.
Colby, you might Commander Royce.
Thanks. Well, are you going to start fighting?
I'll try.
That's my girl. Mike Nelson here, Commander. Any news?
It's the paint from the dinghy, all right.
Good.
Well, we're not home yet, though. The paint identifies the boat, but not who was driving it. We could arrest Larry Putnam, but we'd never convict him.
I think I'll pay him another visit. Topside this time, though. I'd like to see what a movie star looks like in person. My first move was to snoop around Putnam's boat, openly. It paid off faster than I'd expected, in several ways. 2 of the metal letters were brand new, as though they'd been put on just recently.
What do you think you're doing?
My name's Mike Nelson, Coast Guard Auxiliary. Just a courtesy examination. Everything checks out fine, right number of life preservers. Oh, you could use another fire extinguisher.
When I have visitors, I expect them to knock. Right up there.
I'm sorry. I'll remember next time.
He was looking at the 2 letters I had to replace in the name.
That doesn't prove anything.
Look, his name is Mike Nelson. He happens to be a diver. I think I know what he'll dive for next. And where.
Larry, cut it out, will you? Stay put. Don't get yourself in any deeper.
Leave me alone.
As soon as I could get my gear together, I headed for the bottom. I had a hunch that I'd be racing someone. Larry Putnam, or the man who'd been standing behind him. But because it was just a hunch, I decided against notifying Commander Royce. The letter Y. That meant that I was right in the area where the accident had happened. I knew the letter D had to be somewhere close by. Those 2 metal letters were important evidence. I wanted both. I widened my search pattern. knew immediately it must be Putnam. He was whipping his boat so that the anchor would swing wildly in every direction. And any second, he would start hitting the bottom with it too, wherever he saw my air bubbles. I knew my bubbles were giving him his target. I'd have to leave my air lung as a decoy and swim away without it. Then I heard the siren. I didn't know how they'd found me, but I knew that it was the Coast Guard closing in on Putnam.
I'm sorry, Larry. I just had to do it. For you and for the girl.
Come in. Have you heard the wonderful news, Mike? They're not going to have to amputate.
They're not?
No.
No?
No, sir. I decided I wouldn't let him.
So you did it, huh?
With a little faith. Do you suppose I could raise some money with the same faith? It'll be a little while before I'll be doing any modeling again.
Hey, didn't you tell her?
Well, since it's your miracle, I thought you'd tell her, Mike.
Well, it's just that this Putnam character finally came to his senses. He authorized his agent to pay all your bills, plus $25,000 in damages. If that's okay with you.
Oh, Mike. I can't say it.
Don't try to. You're doing just fine.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.